Hack to Ghoul.
Oh, it's Hack to Ghoul season.
Now we could take a second and listeners try to figure out what that means.
Well,
It's August.
Kelley said Hack to Ghoul season.
Yeah, so I fucked it up.
Yeah.
No, that helps. It's like a hint.
Oh, it's a hint. Yeah. I wanted them to get it on their own.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's pretty obvious. Hack to Ghoul.
I didn't know what you were saying at first. That's why I jumped to the thing about it by horse.
You think it's one word? Hack to Ghoul.
I was like, what did he say?
It's Hack to Ghoul time. It's where you go to your Hack to Ghoul sales.
And then I just assumed it was something like a lot of things that I misheard, and I just moved on from it.
Yeah, basically, we're doing basically college movies.
Hack to Ghoul. It's back to school, listeners.
It's Hack to Ghoul, but specifically Hack to colleges.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
No,
we're
it's
doing
fine.
college.
It's perfect.
We haven't picked other movies yet, but we're going to be doing 3 of our choice, and then the listener, one of our lucky mailing list subscribers, will get to pick our final main attraction in the theme Hack to Ghoul, horror, sci-fi, or fantasy film set in a college.
It sounds like
Or university.
Have to do with it.
it sounds like the name of someone. Mr. Hack the Ghoul.
Mr. Hack to Ghoul. Hack to Ghoulie.
Hack to Ghoulie.
Yeah.
It's like a horror host or something.
Hack to Ghoulie.
Remember
Exactly.
a bag of Ghoulie? When we watched Ghoulies 2 and they had a bag of Ghoulies? Back in the day.
I want some
Gabagool
Gabagoolie.
for Hack to Ghoul.
So speaking of back in the day, Origins is available for our patrons, patreon.com/NOTLP. Also, you get the ad-free version of this show there.
Which we're going to have a new intro for you someday.
Yeah, we'll have all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Things are happening. They're in the works.
Try to keep things fresh
Pardon
here.
our dust.
Yeah, well, people aren't patrons because of the extras. They're patrons because they're nice people and they love us.
They
That's
support
exactly
us.
it.
And we need your support so much these days as inflation has eaten away.
Oh,
That's so many
inflation.
In this economy.
In this economy?
That phrase is back now. In this
Try.
economy.
To do a
One of
horror
the-
podcast on one income in this economy?
It's difficult. Mugs went out, though.
Mugs
That's the
did go. We
exciting
got
thing.
our mug.
Yeah, it
Well,
looks
at
so
least got her mug. I'm
cool.
not a patron.
Yeah.
But I did create it. So it's a little bit my mug.
We're getting good feedback. People love the design.
Well, I'm super glad to hear that. I'm glad you like it,
Love it.
everyone. I worked hard on it.
It's badass. It's kind of got like a 60s, 70s kind of vibe to it.
That was the goal.
It's very groovy.
That was the ghoul.
That was the ghoul.
The ghoul. Keep your ghouls in mind.
Patreon.com/NOTLP.
We also have our meetups. We had a great meetup this past week on Discord, and we're pretty much on Discord all the time. So basically, when you're a patron, you're kind of like with the whole community there now.
I shared
great.
on our Discord an image, a cursed image. We went to the flea market this weekend, and I found, for whatever reason, like novelty tumblers is like a big hot ticket at the flea market. Like people making their own
Wow.
designs.
Yeah.
So like it looks like a can of Raid.
Yeah,
something.
but it's like this.
It's
I think
a
it's because
mug.
people have cricket machines,
Traveling
and they make
travelers
cricket machines.
coffee
So-
mug.
I don't understand why people want other people to think that you're drinking from Raid.
Because they're owning the libs.
So the one I found, I'm looking at them.
That's all I can presume.
Because we tell them not to drink Raid, so I'm going to do it.
You got to make a Listerine can.
Yeah, they showed us.
And so there's the one I found was it's like a gray wood background, and on top of that somebody put the word Trump, but it's in the Friends font. It just says Trump 2024 in the Friends font.
How dare they?
It's very weird.
Is there a crossover?
There's not.
Trump is our friend.
There isn't.
Like, do people who love Friends love Trump?
I wish he was canceled, which you could say is the one thing that he should share with friends.
It wasn't really canceled. They just
You're right. It ended.
Yeah.
That's even better. I wish
just
he
wanted
had
it to end.
ended.
Can he end, please?
Friends were out. It's welcome too.
Yeah. So that's two things, I guess.
well,
things.
Trump was never really welcome.
Yeah.
So that just is the most bananas thing I think I ever come across in the Friends font.
I don't like it.
I mean, back in the Apprentice days, I didn't have any major issues with him, but I didn't know who he was really.
Man, I hated him then.
Yeah.
Fucking hated his guts.
That's good instincts there, apparently.
I was like, this guy's a douchebag.
I hated him. He was so fucking arrogant. And I used to say, thank God for Ivanka, because at least, she's there and she's cool. And now I want to go back and stab Amy from then. Because she's not.
I don't want to think about this right now anymore.
So anyway,
sad.
we went to the flea market, and that was fun.
Yeah, it was for you guys.
We got some new fleas.
I have expanded my Star Trek movie soundtrack on vinyl collection.
What'd you get?
Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock.
Oh, yeah.
So I have 1, 2, and 3 now.
We ran into Jason, Cretin, and Dawn.
Jason from Horror Hound Radio.
Also from the Intro to Origins.
And from the Intro to Origins. To randomly run into your friends at a flea market that's a half an hour away from your home.
Well, and considering the size of this place,
It's huge.
You guys have no idea, listeners,
It's like an IKEA.
how big. It's bigger than that.
It's like 2 IKEAs.
Yeah.
I think it's literally like a half mile long,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
if not longer.
It's a lot.
We talk about Trader's World all the time because it's just a place you can go and see weird shit. Like a former Bengal was there signing stuff.
Dave Fulcher.
Yeah.
Dave Fulcher.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah.
We said if you get lost, meet at Dave Fulcher.
Yeah.
That was
we were
our
like,
meeting
He was
spot.
a good player during the bad years.
He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he deserved better.
Yeah. Oh, there were a lot of players like that.
Yeah.
Do you think it was weird for him,
I think his whole life
to
is
just
weird.
sit in this place?
Hey, I'll do
Just
anything.
random people come up and say hi to you?
I'll do it for a paycheck. If
Yeah.
they have an Andy Hung booth there, I'll be like,
Yeah,
hey, I'll
you-
sign anything.
You got to live.
right.
I mean, like, as much as they pay NFL players, they're not all rich. Some
No,
of them
I
don't
get
really have that
it.
much
He's
money.
probably really not rich.
Right. The smart ones buy car dealerships.
Or
It seems.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
franchises like food places.
Yeah.
Who's the big forehead guy from the Colts?
Frankenstein? Oh,
Big
I'm sorry.
forehead from
Frankenstein's
the
monster.
Colts. Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. He
Oh,
owns like
yeah.
1,000 Papa John's or somethings.
Him and Shaq
Yeah.
basically own that company.
Shakaroni Pizza.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you feel like that was a complete sentence?
I've had it.
Okay.
It was good.
Were they big pepperonis or just a big
It's a
pizza?
big pizza.
It's the
a big
biggest pizza.
It has
For a big
it's a big
man.
floppy pizza.
It has to be big enough.
With lots of
for Shaq.
shakaroni. Like, it's like edge to edge shakaroni.
You can taste the shack in it.
That's their guarantee.
Tastes just like him. Caramel.
I can't say caramel anymore. Now I
always have to
go caramel.
Every time I think of Shaq, I think of him saying caramel.
Did he actually say that, or is that something in your mind?
No, he said it. It's like
I didn't know it was Shaq. I'm doing you
Yeah.
when I do that.
Oh yeah.
So you're doing Freddy doing
It's,
Shaq.
Yeah.
it's the argument between saying caramel or caramel, and he's like caramel. He just really
a deep
has a
voice.
very interesting voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Great pizza.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Shaq knows pizza, guys.
man, does he?
The way Bo knows football.
Bo knows.
Bo knows.
Who was it? Was it Bo?
Bo
Jackson, baby.
That's
He
right.
played football and baseball.
Yeah.
Don't you remember?
Like Deion
Yeah.
Sanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was actually good at both.
And now isn't Deion Sanders coaching basketball?
Football.
Did he
football.
try to play hockey at one point too?
I think that the commercial made him play all the sports.
No, okay.
He's
We're
like, Bo
old.
knows this, Bo knows that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bo knows sports.
Bo knows sports.
You're so old.
I know what
Take it
Bo
back.
don't know. Check, check, bang.
Yeah.
Here come the hot stuff. Burn it up.
So,
What other old references do we have?
Oh, I got a ton.
Oh, we saw complete box sets of Alf trading cards. At the,
Oh,
flea
what?
market.
And
$30.
you left them?
You
I'm just
$30
kidding.
worth of Alf trading cards.
And we went to this outdoor booth where they had these weird games. And they had a CNN game where you were
Yes,
A
CNN,
newscaster.
the board game.
CNN the game.
I almost bought it. It sounded so much fun.
Can you imagine pitching that?
There's a Scream. Funko made a Scream game. Have you heard about this?
No. But I believe you.
You put like an app on your phone, and Ghostface will call you as part of the game. That's when you know you're the next target.
That's fun.
Sounds like fun.
That's adorable.
But yeah, CNN the board game where you get to be a correspondent and go out and get news. And it was like, it reminded me of the old Raiders of the Lost Ark game, but with CNN correspondents.
Does it come with ties and dress suit jackets?
It comes with a little wolf mask for Wolf Blitzer. Is there anything else you want to talk about at the top here?
Well, of course. This is where we just talk about life. Is there anything interesting going on?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, like I live a very unexciting life.
It's full of TV. That's your life.
Oh, Will and
Did you watch
Grace.
interesting new TV? You gave up on Sliders.
We did give up on
Sliders is
Sliders.
done.
Because that's the most exciting thing in the TV area.
It felt so dramatic at the
Yes.
time to give up.
Did you
But
not
now in
want
hindsight,
Did you feel like you had to see it through?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
it got so
I know
bad.
that's incorrect.
It is. I'm glad you.
But there's
I'm
a
glad
part
you
of me
came
that's
to this.
like,
because there was like that'd been like 20 more hours probably, right?
You
that
said
still
the,
had to
I
watch.
I gotta think. I'm
You could've
I'm
watched
43
a lot of
now.
other
Like,
stuff.
I don't have as much time left as I've lived. So I have to start being more economical with my time.
You got to say no to season 5 of Sliders, is what you're
I
saying.
have said yes to going back to Stargate SG-1, so we're going back into that, and that is painfully 90s, so that's fun.
Yeah.
You're doing a rewatch of it already?
No, I've never seen
Oh, okay.
Stargate.
Stargate's new. We started them together.
And then stopped to focus on Sliders, which was the wrong choice.
If you watch
Anyway.
Sliders, if you decide to undertake watching Sliders, just stop at the finale of season 3.
Yeah, really.
It ends terribly.
It's
Actually,
not going to get much
stop-
better than that.
Stop before you get to the finale.
Maybe just don't.
Just watch all but the last 2 episodes of season 3. Watch
stop
it through
before
the
you
last
start.
2.
Stop before you start, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
So did this throw a monkey wrench in your plans for the Sliders cast?
Yes, but I've slotted in Will and Grace, so I'm keeping the '90s theme alive. So it's Will and Grace and Stargate SG-1.
There you go.
And then Rockford for when I'm feeling like the '70s.
Right. I hear you. Speaking of old timey sci-fi shows, we last night, after watching a particular episode of Voyager, learned the tragic story of Jennifer Lean,
Yeah,
the rise and fall.
Oh, that's a
Cass.
Yeah.
that is a tough
Star
tale.
Trek
That's a
Voyager.
bummer of a tale, but also held within that was all the goings on apparently at Voyager, and
There's
it was
tea
not
in
a
the
happy
back.
production.
No, that bums me out.
Me too.
I think they all get along now.
Yeah, that's what it said, but like
And they still talk highly of Jennifer Lean, like the Delta Flyers podcast, which is Tom
Yeah.
Paris and Harry.
who almost was cut off the show.
Right.
Which one?
Harry Kim.
Harry was almost cut.
Yeah, at the end of season 3.
I didn't know that.
When Jennifer Lean left, like he got to stay. And yeah.
She was really
Yeah.
young, too.
Yeah.
20 when the show was on,
Something like that.
something like that.
Her and Neelix were an odd pair, but I really enjoyed them.
No, listener, I'm sorry if you've never seen this, Andy. It's a weird thing. They have this like one alien, Neelix, and he's like a guy who wears funny looking sports coats.
He kind of looks like a clown creature.
Yeah. And then there's Cass, and they're in love, and she's 2 because her people only live like
7 years.
7 years.
She's 2 years old. That's what she's saying.
Does she look like she's 2 years old?
no.
She looks like she's 20.
But then they're like in love, and I'm like, this is weird.
It did always feel weird.
Does she?
Yeah.
I mean, she doesn't talk like a baby, does she? Like a toddler?
No, because
No.
they mature really fast.
Even mentally and physically, they
Yeah.
mature.
It was a weird, like it was comfortable for that to stop.
Yeah.
I was nothing against Neelix.
No, I love Neelix.
It just is a
love it.
weird
It's a weird thought
pairing.
project to begin with, because when you look at Star Trek, they always challenge social constructs on Star Trek. That's
Yeah.
like their whole thing. And the question is, what construct are you challenging here with Neelix and Cass's relationship?
Well,
Age is just a number, Freddie.
Right.
it felt very when the actor Ethan Phillips was significantly older.
Yeah.
Great
From
character
Benson, by
actor.
the way. There is a Benson Star
fantastic.
Trek thing.
Yeah.
I just
A
realized.
Benson to Star Trek pipeline.
Because also the name of what's his fuck from Next Generation, but he shows up sometimes on Voyager. Oh God damn
Barclay?
it. Barclay.
Yeah.
His name is Barclay Endicott III or something like that, which the character that Rene Auberjonois played on Benson was Clayton Endicott III. And then, of course, Rene Auberjonois and Ethan Phillips were both on Benson, and we're both on Star Trek shows. And I bet there's more.
You're probably right.
I bet there's more.
I bet you there is
I bet they shared a producer or a writer.
Also,
a decent Substack post here. People would pay to read.
yeah, Ethan. What's his name again?
Ethan Phillips.
Ethan Phillips is also on Avenue 5, which is the Veep people made that comedy about the space cruise ship that gets trapped out in space.
Yeah.
And he plays like a former astronaut on that, and he's really funny.
Oh, nice.
He's great. I just really like that actor a lot.
He's great. I can't believe he's still acting.
Yeah, and also he still just kind of feels he has a youth about him, even though he's playing older characters now, obviously. But he hasn't lost any of his edge or his personality or anything.
Yeah, I just the Neelix Kess thing though. It was the one. It was always very sexless.
Yeah,
like there was just no, and it makes sense. Like they tried to have chemistry,
right?
But like
it was never going to happen.
That was not.
Didn't Neelix look like he owned at least one keytar?
Well, he was a trader, so I mean, he probably definitely had any number of them stashed in his ship.
And I feel like he could play it too, though.
For sure.
I could see him playing keytar
with that long, with that long hair thing down his back.
Do you think that TV now is so much more sexed up than it was? I mean, obviously more things are shown. Like I get that nowadays than versus back in the 90s. But
I
like,
don't actually.
It's like more in your face about it.
There's not as much everything. Like we were watching Stargate, and I'm like, this is a sexless show. They don't want anybody to think about sex watching this show.
Well, I will say that now
Star Trek is way hornier than that.
Voyager way horny, and I don't know that I feel like TV is more sexed up, other than the ability to show more. Right. Now, when they go hard, they go hard. The sex on I'm not even going to say it because I'll sound like such a plebe. But when they go hard, they go horde.
You mean just on TV in general?
Yeah, now. Like on.
Well, it also feels like a lot of the sex has moved out of the big silver screen movies. Those have kind of become sexless, and now it's more on TV.
Yeah,
like cable shows are much sexier than movies are.
Yeah,
movies are kind of like
It's also when
people do it, but you don't ever see it.
The sex on TV shows when they. Sometimes is so much more realistic than it's ever been in almost any movie.
Yeah.
It's coming back, though.
It's coming back.
Sex on movies?
Sex in the movies is coming back.
Sex in the movies is coming back.
In it.
I wondered if...
What movies are you watching?
If how sexy like movies and TV are.
There was no dong in that, by the way. I did not see dong in Oppenheimer.
Well, I'm sorry.
It was just a rumor.
Fucking bummer, dude.
So, I mean, I was looking for it too.
So men were already mad.
You got titties though.
About dong that wasn't even there.
Yeah, they're mad at hypothetical dong.
Oh God, what the point I'm trying to make is, do you think of how sexy media is right now is part of the reason the kids aren't having sex now? Like they're rebelling against the sexy.
Sex?
The kids are not.
The kids are not having sex.
Are there studies that show that these kids are not having sex?
Yeah.
And what kids? Like
Gen Z.
Gen Z?
Yeah.
Young people are. It's
are they
weird.
just not procreating, or are they just not having sex at all?
They're not having sex.
They're freaked out by. I don't think it's TV. I think it's this climate, as they like to say on things. I think there's a lot of confusion for them about what's okay and what's not okay.
So they don't try at all.
That's just a guess, and that's a very lackadaisical and non-researched and just anecdotal and only partial guess. But yeah,
well, people aren't going out anymore to meet people. I'm fine. I can stay at home for the rest of my life and be fine.
Yeah,
and people don't need to go out anymore.
It's true.
No, because I think people are social animals. Even if you're an introvert, you do still need.
Yeah, but I'm saying I can talk to people online and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think there's still. I want the kids.
Do you think this is a natural response to the population problem?
I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't want to raise a child.
I didn't have kids
in this climate, and even the possibility of having a child.
Yeah.
I really think it's the culture.
I think you can make sure you don't have a kid and still be fucking. I mean, I like horny. Be horny be horny.
They're horny. Oh, they're hornier than ever. But they're scared to have sex.
Yeah. They don't know what to do with it.
I mean, at an appropriate age with somebody who's being nice to you and that you've consented to.
They're having sex online, I think.
All right.
via like weird machines and stuff, huh?
But honestly, I mean,
not like physical sex.
The stark reality of watching, even Sliders tried to be a little sexy, but like Stargate is like the thought that anybody would ever touch genitalia is so abhorrent.
Are you missing the sex in SG-1?
A little bit.
Isn't that kind of refreshing though? That a society without.
Amy's like, no,
it's because the show is not even about sex. It's about, I don't know what it's about.
Well, I know, but people are in it.
Yeah, you're just
people have
saying.
sex?
Yeah, people have sex. So
I understand
why
I
is
sound like a pervert, but I'm just saying.
Oh, Amy,
like,
I agree with you.
Little,
If
like,
it's
sexual tension,
you know,
need
there's
something.
with a story about human beings. If you want to suspend my disbelief,
Right.
it should include all the human experience
Right. I don't know
to
why.
some degree.
Can I get
Are
a
you
time machine
okay?
and go back?
You need to touch some grass, some sexy grass.
I need to touch up sexy grass. I'm fine. I just need to.
And you want these kids have sex. Next time we go out, just shout out to the air. Have sex, everybody.
Please have kids because they're going to need to pay for my Social Security and shit.
Right.
I didn't have any, but like, can you do that?
I feel like the rails have been
What?
sufficiently
Have been left behind.
left behind. We should get back to the show. I know it's weird coming from me. I just can't handle it anymore. I just can't handle it. I just can't.
Hello, boys and girls. It's time for straight to video Russian roulette.
Hey, Andy.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to get used to me not playing the trailer.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm going to get used to it eventually.
Change is
Yes.
difficult.
Bury the bride. It should have stayed buried.
Oh, damn.
You know that meme of Tyra Banks yelling at that contestant. We were rooting for
was
you.
rooting for
We
you."
were all rooting for you. That's what every time I see a Tubi movie, I'm like, we were rooting for you. I want so much for you to have good things, but then you put this out.
Oh.
Because the movie I saw last time on Tubi, The Play Dead, and Kelly had a good
I had a good
movie.
Tubi movie.
They
and
can't all be winners, especially
Our friend John Wagner has a movie on Tubi.
Cabin
movie.
Girl.
Yeah. And
I think Kevin Kangas has movies on Tubi.
Does he?
Yeah, I
didn't
think
know that.
the one I did a voice in is on Tubi.
Well, we
that
should
might be
watch
the
it.
only reason I know this, actually.
You should watch it.
But I do like Tubi. It's weird to root on a corporation or a big
That
streaming
makes me
company.
watch commercials, but I
Yes.
kind of love them.
But
Underdogs.
I just like them because of the catalog they have and
Yeah.
the stuff they offer.
Yeah, man.
And I like that the fact that they're going for original streaming movies. And
100%, we are not being paid. I am not lying to you. This is not a sponsorship. This is not that ad. We just like it. I promise.
but this was seriously, it was like so bad. Like this was back. It feels like a movie that we reviewed that we used to go to Blockbuster to get for straight to video.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Like an old-timey
Yes.
straight-to-video movie.
Filmed
Movie
on-
that's straight-to-video for a reason.
Like filmed on a phone.
Yeah.
Lit with nothing.
So the story is this lady's getting married and they're having a bashorette party. But the husband, the fiance, like sets it up for them, and it's like this dilapidated house in the desert. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Who doesn't want to hang out?
That
with
sounds like a
their
bachelor
friends
party
in a
destination for sure.
Whoa. Yeah,
Who doesn't want to hang out in a old house in the desert? There's red flags from the beginning. She's only known this guy for a couple months. None of her friends have met him.
Oh, Lord.
No pictures of him exist because she says he doesn't like us having his picture taken.
Oh, this could also be a Dateline.
Yes.
And then their friends are like, shouldn't you be, something's weird about this. And
Everything.
and the girl's like, why don't you want me to be happy?
Oh, Lord.
And it's like, bitch.
Thanks for portraying another woman that is like, I am just desperate for love and I don't care.
And that was another problem with the movie. All the characters were just so annoying and one-dimensional. You got your slut.
Oh.
You know that because she wears skimpy clothes and
Right.
just talks about sex all the time.
Right.
You got your nerd. She has glasses.
She has glasses?
And
That's how you
she's-
know that.
She's reading a book at a bachelorette party.
Is that Scout
Oh my
Taylor
God.
Compton?
No, she's the lady that's engaged and to be
okay.
married. And you have the mom character. That's her whole existence. She's a mom.
Oh, Lord.
Right.
And then you have the responsible sister and the, fly-by-night sister. Like, she's wacky.
Right.
Quirky.
And then they get to this house and they just go with it until the fiance and his friends come in. And the fiance, of course, all the red flags are for a reason. They meet him and he's just like yelling at these girls and saying, it's like, slut, you stupid bitch.
Whoa.
That type of stuff.
Wow.
But it's like thinly drawn redneck characters.
Yeah.
Right.
That's they're rednecks and they're mean and they're
Mean
gruff,
good old boys.
you know.
They tried
Just who you
that in
wanna
a
marry.
small town.
Yeah, and the fiance, the lady's like, it's fine. He's just nervous about. He hasn't met anybody. It's like, just because you're nervous, don't mean you can call me a bitch.
Andy, I was reading the trivia. Apparently, they wrote it in a week and a half and shot it in 7 days.
It sounds. I don't think they had a script because it felt very improv-y.
Yeah.
And they try to cram as many fucks.
Yeah.
When instead of a good script, they try to show that they're on edge or in danger by just yelling fuck a lot.
Yeah.
Sir fucks a lot.
Sir fucks a lot.
And it seemed like it was a contest of who could say fuck the most.
Just throwing it around willy-nilly.
Who
I
won?
could win that contest.
Yeah.
Strangely, the nerd girl won. She said fuck more than anybody, I think.
Does the camera they're filming the movie with just spit out tickets like at Dave and Buster's?
Well, I guess that's how they're being paid. The more
Yeah.
fucks
Yeah.
you get, the more
Tickets.
a stipend you get.
Somebody's
Oh.
getting that
Yeah.
super soaker.
Yeah.
Somebody is.
Yeah.
There's iPads now.
Yeah. So the big twist
Skeleton
is
keychain.
that it turns out they're all vampires. The fiance and his friends.
Oh, it's like a
Oh.
Dust Till Dawn ripoff-y
Yes.
kind of thing.
But they're not traditional vampires.
Oh.
This isn't your granny's a vampire.
There's this weird backstory about the land. You bury the bride and she comes back to life. It's stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
never heard
and
that
it's
one.
unnecessary.
Mhm.
And it's just a mean movie.
Oh.
Everybody's just yelling. Everybody goes from 0 to 60 in like 2 seconds. Everybody's coming in hot.
So Chrissy Fox and Spider One did not deliver for you.
Spider One?
That's the director's name, Spider One.
Was Spider taken? And he had to go with Spider One?
It's funny. Spider One.
So,
He's
man,
written a bunch of decent stuff, but
A
also
person or two people?
it's one guy, Spider One, and then
Oh, one.
It's probably pronounced
And then
Spider
Spider
One.
and then Chrissy Fox spells it KRSY, Fox FOX.
RS what?
Yeah.
That's how they probably fell in love with each other.
I have issues with
They're
that. But they're
partners.
my issues, and they have nothing to do with them sure this lovely woman.
I'm sure they're lovely
But
people.
I'm so angry.
It's that curmudgeon that's always trying to get out when you see a name like Spider One, where you're like, it reminds me of when my friend's grandpa would be at his house and we'd watch TV and those ads for Capio, which is something that was in the 90s. We had this pre-made cappuccino drink that you could buy. And remember Capio?
I don't remember it, but I believe you.
In the commercials, it was always like cartoon beatniks dancing, and he was like, these goddamn fucking hippies shaking their ass. You get real mad.
They didn't say that on a commercial.
No, his grandpa did. My friend's grandpa said
okay.
that about the Capio commercial.
About the beatniks on the Caprio
About,
commercial.
in particular, cartoon beatniks.
The animated
Are you
beatniks.
Animated
comparing
characters.
Are you comparing the grandpa to Spider One?
I'm comparing that to us. This is your. I feel like
So we're the grandpa.
Freddie's saying us, yeah, making fun of Spider
I have
One.
to fight the urge.
I'm
to,
mad at Chrissy spelled Karis.
right? Yeah, you see these things.
No, it's like I know what type of person Spider One is.
Yeah,
He goes to Dave and Buster's on the weekends and tries to win his girl a big prize.
Spider One.
And he spends his whole paycheck trying to win that stuffed animal.
That's Spider One. He kind of looks like Billy Idol.
He has like
kinda punky.
He has spiky hair.
He has spiky hair.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
And
that
he has
really
one
is
of
him?
those, He has one of those stud belts.
Oh.
Oh.
and he still wears those like Ed Hardy shirts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So the movie.
He drives a Dodge Charger.
They're vampires.
He actually looks a lot like Andy
Anyway.
Samberg doing Billy Idol.
They're
Doesn't-
vampires, right? But like, doesn't even matter what they are.
Okay.
It's just a bad movie. I'm sorry.
That's
Don't be
all right.
sorry.
Sorry, Spider.
Feel the way you feel.
Chrissy Fox.
Art
Plus,
is subjective.
I knew I was in a rough ride as soon as they got out the car, and there's a filter. Damn it! You're in the desert already. It's going to be dusty. You don't have to put the dusty filter on it.
All right. Not a recommend then.
Yeah.
Bury the Bride. Back off,
All right.
Whitey.
Call this wedding off.
Back off. That wasn't what we came up with. Butt out,
Yeah,
Whitey.
butt out, Whitey.
That's a
That's
joke from Origins. You don't have to pay to hear that. So next week, the movie up for grabs is Curse of Crom, The Legend of Halloween. Right?
I don't know.
We all said that in our
This
heads.
could go either way.
It's on Peacock and Freevee too. High school teenagers accidentally unleash an ancient Irish entity on their hometown and must stop it before midnight on Halloween.
And what's the movie called again? Crumb?
Curse of Crom.
Crom, like CROM?
Yep.
I thought you were saying crumb before.
Crom.
Like crummy.
It's like the god of the
Yeah.
Sumerians.
Yeah.
It's got, some fun reviews. People liked it.
That's right. The riddle of steel.
People liked it. All right.
Crom doesn't care.
All right, let's see who's going to watch
Crom it up your ass.
No.
Crom.
Ooh.
Oh, it looks like Kelley, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
This sounds okay.
I knew that.
If you'll text that to me.
Doing it right now, sir.
Ancient Irish curse, huh?
Ancient Ice Curse. A lot of Crom.
Crom.
I love the underground
doing?
comics of R. Crom.
Are we vamping?
No.
Turn out lights, it's the main attraction.
So that I'm still experimenting
I
with
think
the
my
main attraction
critique
bumper.
this week on the bumper is it just doesn't feel exciting enough.
No, it's not. It's not exciting enough. We need to redo
Something
it.
with a little bit more energy.
Yeah.
All right.
We should do it like a
This
Yoko
is-
Ono style thing.
Freddie's going to keep dialing
Just
it in.
shout.
Screaming and breaking bottles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody else wants to take a swing at it,
No, I want you to
I'll keep
try again.
I'll keep making them. We'll do them like Doritos, feeding them to Jay Leno, and I'll just keep hammering away at it.
Okay.
I love Doritos.
We are here today to talk about
A little Mike Tyson more than Jay Leno.
Yeah, probably right.
Flatliners.
Yeah, we are.
1980.
1990.
Kiefer Sutherland.
One of my low-key favorite movies.
Really, really good on. Like, I think it's aged really, really.
I
well.
agree
Loved it.
too. I think I liked it better than I did the last time I watched
I
it.
haven't seen this since in 30 years. Probably,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably
good.
rented from Blockbuster. I probably didn't get it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
There's
But-
no way I could have gotten
yeah.
all of it.
It's refreshing to see a mature adult horror movie.
This is, it's like we all had the same. 5 or 10 minutes into it, or I don't know how long into it we were, but I said, man, and I said a very old thing. And some of you younger people are going to be tempted to say it's a boomer thing to say, but I'm not a boomer.
He's not.
So don't say that. But I said, remember when they used to make movies like this?
Yeah.
Remember when they used to make movies with original ideas that weren't just like weird commercials or video games or
Yeah.
and
Well, that's
Well, this doesn't follow any trends.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
right.
Like all the horror movies now that were released in theaters, it's all jump scares and everything looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like this movie feels, it's not for kids.
This is not a kid's movie.
Won't understand. It won't hit them the same way.
Like a teen, yeah. Like you need to be a little bit older, I think, to fully encompass it. Not that I'm saying you have to be like 30. No, I'm saying like 20.
You have to have a
maybe.
healthy fear of dying too
Yeah, if you're
to
not
really appreciate the movie. I think.
You're not no. It's a very preppy movie.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I don't think I realized before this time that it was Joel Schumacher. And there are so many like callbacks to the Lost Boys just in shots. Like, you know, like there's so
I
many
said that to
scenes.
Amy like 3 or 4 times.
Me too.
I was like, I said, this is the same shot he used in Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Like the opening shot is
The opening
is
shot.
a helicopter shot of the beach instead of it being the Pacific Ocean. Now it's
Lake Michigan.
It's the Lake Shore. In Chicago.
Yeah.
Lakeshore Drive and
the Halloween
it's
party.
The same. Yeah, the Halloween parties.
And it's the lighting too.
Yeah, and the shots of Kiefer Sutherland falling out of the sky is very similar to when he's flying.
And
in Lost
all
Boys.
of their trench coats when they're walking around together through the night.
I miss big coats.
Yeah, it's also we were like it's also St. Elmo's Fire. It's also the Breakfast Club. It's also
funny because Kiefer Sutherland called this St. Elmo's. What was it?
Funeral.
St. Elmo's funeral.
Oh, nice.
And then he called it the Breakfast Club dies or something.
Oh wow, look at us.
Yeah, funny. Like, because I mean, it is. Amy still hasn't seen St. Elmo's Fire, but I was describing, like, I was like, it's kind of these privileged kids that you don't really know that you're gonna like them. You don't have any reason to really like them, and it's similar with this.
Yeah,
But they don't come across as privileged.
You don't think so?
No, they're just
I thought
med
they
students.
kind of did. Yeah,
A little bit.
They came off as kind of rich kids to me.
not necessarily all of them.
Not Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon didn't come
Or
off
Julia
like
Roberts,
as
but-
privileged.
The only privileged part, like, they had this arrogance about them because they're med students, and
Yeah.
I think all doctors have a certain.
And they have huge apartments.
Well, the huge apartments for me, like Kiefer
Why are they so
Sutherland
big and
William
nice?
Baldwin.
That's just very movie-ish.
It is very
Yeah.
movie-ish.
Everybody in that time in your movie, they lived in a loft, like an industrial, former factory.
But the sun never shines in Chicago in this movie.
So wet.
No.
It's always smoky.
Yeah,
Amy
It
made
gave-
an interesting observation.
It gave me
about it.
Candyman vibes.
Yeah,
it's
very
in the
Candyman
exact
vibes,
same
yeah.
universe that's
It's like it's own
happening at the same time.
Well, yeah, it had the big painting, the face painting on the side of the
Yeah.
building. Yeah, it's
It's
very
the same Chicago.
Chicago's his own character in this movie.
It kind of
It is.
is.
It's
Yeah.
like the
but
I
a
love-
different kind than it usually
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I love the school that the setting in. It's like an old church.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Loyola University.
Yeah.
That giant head, because I guess they're restoring
Yeah.
this church or whatever, and the big statue. So they have the head inside the church, just the head sitting on the floor, and it's enormous. And it triggered me a little bit, my like phobia.
I know that they're renovating and there should be some construction going on, but I don't feel that a medical class should have water dripping in on it.
Like, could they not turn on more lights while they're cutting into bodies?
You know what though? When you and I volunteered
No.
at UC, the old medical school area looked like a lot of stuff out of this movie.
Yeah, I mean,
remember?
like
Still had fluorescent lighting.
I feel
Well, it
like
was added in. Later,
there's something inherently creepy about old college buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The I love the thing about and again, it's the locations are like the stars of this movie almost entirely. Like it's handled so artfully. All the shots of the museum where the museum doubled for part of the school, and then shots of Loyola. But then, like you're talking about in the church, but they put in like that big rack of rubber gloves in
Yeah.
the room that just. It makes you think of Frankenstein, like I think, like there's no two ways about it. It's like that coppery.
Oh, very Frankenstein-y.
Yeah.
The whole thing is very
like
Frankenstein-y.
big, like a gothic castle or something.
Yeah. A lot of space, vaulted ceilings.
It's like a hammer set.
How many med students do you think have tried something like this?
Not after
Almost
watching this
none.
movie.
I feel like somebody has.
You think somebody's tried to
Oh, yeah.
deliberately experience life after death
Well, I'm sure there's
and didn't write about it?
actual accounts of it. I haven't looked at anything. I'm just saying, like, do you think this is based on any like story, like an urban legend? Oh, these kids, they did this thing.
I don't think so. I think it's more of a Frankenstein
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like reverse Frankenstein, where they're like, instead of bringing something from that side over to us, we peek over to that side. And then it did feel like there is very much like that whole gothic, that moment. It feels like the weekend, the writing weekend that Mary Shelley and Lord Byron,
Yeah.
when they're in the church together with Julia Roberts being the only woman and all these intellectuals around her, and one of them's a womanizer and all this stuff. It feels like they're trying to kind of, when they wrote this, it feels like they're saying, you know, they want to evoke that in you if you know that story of Mary Shelley being, with all these men in this old
Her sister was there
palatial
too.
place. Was there? Oh yeah, that's right. And then it's just kind of got that same vibe though.
It does.
Yeah, just like them intellectualizing about life and death throughout it. It's just, it feels so good. It feels like so traditional.
Yeah. Oh, very traditional.
So they do this and, it goes well. But what happens is as they, each attempt, dying and coming back and staying longer and longer, their like unfinished business comes to haunt them.
Yeah.
So is the implication that the movie is making that the minute you die, you will have to face up to your unfinished business?
Well, you know what's funny, and like I want to go back though. I want to say that they don't actually go super smoothly. Like each time, they feel like they've almost lose.
Right. Oh yeah, every time.
The person on the table. And for the listeners who we're spoiling for who don't know, like they basically use some chemicals and a refrigerated blanket and stuff to put people under and cause them to experience brain death and physical death.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I stopped talking.
And then he just
but anyway, no. So I mean, every time, they each go longer and
You
longer.
experienced a little death there, didn't you?
a little brain death.
Sorry, I just died a little.
I just thought it would be funny if I just stopped cold right there. Every single time it's very tense, and I will agree. Like as an older person, those scenes, like I had this, like I said, this is one of my favorite movies. I actually had this. Someone, I think it was my sister-in-law, but I don't know. When I was a teenager, 16 maybe, 17, someone gave me the VHS. Like they bought it and gave me the VHS of this. So it was one of the movies that I would watch over and over and over again. And it definitely, I got a lot of it, I think, even like you said, in your 20s, I watched it probably a lot in my 20s. But this time, those scenes of them almost being like it definitely hit different.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you know you can die.
It was a lot more solemn.
Yeah.
But to your question, I wondered about it because it felt almost like this way of saying what they were really. But one thing, and I'll tell you what throws me off when I get to it. It was like they were saying what you really need to do is to confront what you think you should be that you need forgiveness for.
No regrets.
And it's very
You die.
particular to what you think but the thing that leads me away from and that it's a way of being forgiven, but like the one thing where I'm like, because Ace Merrill,
Oh yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland.
Ace Merrill.
and that's what I thought, because I was like, he's always a bully when he's always bullying other kids.
Yeah, and this movie does a great job of doing the switcheroo on you because you think he's being bullied in his afterlife experience.
Yeah.
But he's not being bullied. He's bullying that kid.
And so, but he is a little kid when his happens. So you're like, oh, it makes sense for him to want to be forgiven or to figure this out. Same with Kevin Bacon's character, and same with Julia Roberts. But then you have William Baldwin's character who doesn't really deserve forgiveness because he hasn't examined what he's done really too much. And it's like those three people like need this forgiveness, and like you can see it. And for his character, it's like, I'm not even saying like he's the worst person. I mean, it's what he does is awful, but like it doesn't jibe with the other three.
Right. Yeah. His is like, I cheat constantly on my fiance. I tell women I'm, want a relationship, and then I ghost them. I
videotape them without their permission.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
Dennis.
Yeah, I thought of that.
I was like,
very
did that
Dennis.
inspire? I have to see if I can figure that out, because
Yeah.
when he opens the thing with the tapes, I was like, oh shit.
yeah.
Well, remember him
Dennis.
looking over
He's
his
looking
shoulder?
at the
Yeah,
camera.
totally.
Dennis
Like,
did the same thing
all
on
the time.
It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, he does like a million times, and
Yeah.
it's like, so that was kind of what.
The Dennis system came up on my watch.
She's listening.
The Dennis system came back as a legit search result.
Separate entirely.
Oh my God.
That's weird.
But that's the one thing where I'm like, well, maybe that's not the thing.
Well, it made him confront what he was doing because he did lose his fiance.
What makes him confront it, but
Hope Davis, by the way, great actor.
Yeah.
I used to, like I said, I was wondering if this was like, oh, these are just people who have been hard on themselves, and to kind of pass, they have to figure out how to come to terms with those things. And maybe that does work for him. It's just not about forgiveness, but coming to terms with things. I don't know. But something in there.
So the idea being, well, yeah, what was he? When you die, you're going to see or experience something that you feel poorly about.
Maybe it's because they haven't. Maybe
And-
people who made atonement or made amends don't have to do that because they've done
Right.
it. But these three characters haven't done it.
Because they're young and
Yeah.
they didn't think they were going to die.
and it's
they
not their
had-
time.
Yeah.
So they didn't have time to make the amends and make the atonement.
The scene with the old woman, the scenes with Julia Roberts and the old woman, again, those got me more this time than when I was younger. Because it has been a long time since I've watched this. I mean, I've seen it a million times, but I probably haven't watched it for 10, 15 years maybe, at least.
Those scenes are really touching. Like, and you know what's funny is too, like this movie, I love it has those real genuine moments in it, but then it also uses some pretty fun in-camera tricks to tell that story.
Yeah.
And like they do things that are almost, they're real risky. Like when they have the scene where Julia Roberts is having the flashback to her dad and they pull the bathroom walls away.
Yeah.
You know, and to expand it into a big set. They do with her near-death experiences, they are always staged like musical numbers. It's like Del Toro is the only other director I've seen do that and get away with it in a horror movie, and like where it didn't look kind of silly.
Right.
But like, I forgot, like Joel Schumacher, man.
Yeah.
Him and Jan de Bont working together on this, just like, the look of this movie is really special. It's not,
I agree.
It's just not like a lot of disposable stuff from the era, 1990. You know, like when you go back and watch this, there's like some
I love the
really
sets.
weird choices, like wonderfully weird. Like,
Like the camera angles he chooses, it's almost Raimi-esque.
yeah,
It feels like I mean, obviously it almost is an 80s movie because
Yeah.
it was the first non-80s year.
But it was filmed
filmed
probably
in the
like
80s.
in the 80s, so there's still like
It
remnants
written
of
in
it.
the 80s.
And it just very much has a super 80s movie vibe, but like one of those artsy 80s.
yeah,
It's elevated horror.
Yeah.
elevated.
It's
yeah.
preppy. I don't know what I mean by that entirely, but it feels very preppy.
Well, the
also,
look is preppy. They're med school
I
kids.
guess it's not even that. The most beautiful I think Julia Roberts has ever looked.
When I was watching this, I come to the conclusion like there are movie stars and there's actors, and she's a movie star.
Yeah, this
Like-
is the first time you felt that.
Like no, I've felt that before, but like in a role like this,
I felt
Yeah.
that way about
Where-
Billy Baldwin.
it doesn't necessarily need somebody to like really pop off the screen.
Yeah,
Like she's just so like magnetic.
well, it's great too because she was kind of not the star. This is the year of Julia Roberts. She
Yeah.
did this and then
And
Pretty Woman.
yeah, and she's playing kind of
Yeah.
like
She was
a
in that
dowdy-
Mystic
not
Pizza movie
dowdy,
too, I
yeah.
think the same year.
Was that the same one?
It was
Same year?
close.
But it's like you didn't know before Pretty Woman. Nobody knew who
Yeah.
Julia Roberts
Right.
was.
Like she was in Steel Magnolias in like
Yeah.
'88, I think.
Yeah, but she wasn't a breakout star from that. Like she got attention for it, but she wasn't like a household name
Yeah.
yet. And then like you said, there's a reason. Like she backed that stuff up with some real talent and like consideration, because this character is way different than the character she plays in Pretty Woman or Steel
That's
Magnolias.
what I'm saying. Like she's playing like a bookish character in a way, but her screen presence just pops out from a character that doesn't necessarily like need a star.
Well, also the balance, the chemistry of the friends is great because they all bring something different. Like Kiefer Sutherland's character is kind of kind of a bitch.
He is. I can't decide if he or Kevin Bacon are my favorite, but it's.
Yeah.
I appreciate both of those characters and performances.
They play off each other really. They actually remind me of the guys from Witchboard.
Yeah.
A lot. If you haven't seen that in a while,
They are the poor man's them.
they're like if you watch Witchboard, the relationship between the three characters in that movie is like the poor man's version of Flatliners. Yeah. But it came out first. But the love triangle is just handled really well.
I had the thought watching the movie that if you were like, name who these celebrities are by just looking at their mouth, I feel like I could pick out Kiefer Sutherland.
He's got that little sneer a little bit.
You know, the little
Heart-shaped lips.
Yeah.
But you got
I'm making it right now.
You know, it's almost weird. I just realized I called their relationship a love triangle, but it's not even like that exactly.
I mean,
It's more like it's like a friendship kind of love pentagram.
Mm-hmm.
All these people care about each other enough to risk their lives to some level or their careers. The only one who's really kind of they present them as self-serving, Oliver Platt's character and Billy Baldwin's character, but you kind of get the vibe that they take some risks for their friends in this.
Sure. Well, that's that's kind of where Billy Baldwin does a good job of, like, again, he's a piece of shit, but like you kind of don't.
He does have his moments of humanity.
He does.
Looking out for other people.
Yeah.
So he's not totally irredeemable.
It's like
it's because he hasn't faced the consequences for his actions yet.
Yeah, he does such a good job making you like get like, oh, this guy is just a clueless.
And
fuck.
I
but
do
he'll
get the
over
feeling
it.
like he does actually love his fiance too.
No, it's a complicated character, and the same with Steckel, Oliver Platt, who never does go under. He's the I don't know what the
lone survivor.
He doesn't do it.
He's the litmus test. I like that his unresolved business, what he said would be because he stole his sister's corned beef sandwich.
Was babysitter.
Or his babysitter. And I love if they.
Now that's a privileged life right there.
Yeah, I want to see
that's
like
his big trauma.
the film, like them to have filmed that version, like of him going under and like him stealing the corned beef sandwich.
Yeah,
and then watching like a little boy version of Oliver Platt, like scarf down.
It would just be regular Oliver Platt from that time, but dressed like in like a
they
little,
do him like they did Orphan.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's make
like
him
that.
look like he's 10 years old. Just a big corned beef sandwich makes him look small. And then the babysitter's away in the foreground.
Yeah.
I told you they did great in camera work on this. They could have gotten away with it.
Speaking of Lost Boys, was Dave LaBracia, Kevin Bacon's truck, was that the same truck that the grandpa had in Lost Boys?
Oh, you know what?
Looks very familiar.
Very similar.
What a weird truck for a medical student to drive around.
That's exactly what Amy
Chicago.
said.
You could stand
That's what
up.
Elise said too.
You
Yeah.
could stand up in that thing.
What the fuck was it? Like an army jeep thing?
I think he was a mountain climber. I think that was supposed to be like his hobby was he was a
It
mountain
felt like a
climber.
decommissioned army truck. Or
It did feel
something.
like a decommissioned
Yeah.
army truck.
Because he had all the climbing gear and stuff too.
Well, he had
don't
that.
care.
He had those tarps that you can like
was
snap
still
off
weird.
with buttons. It was
Mm-hmm.
not something they can get at the dealership.
Aren't you glad though it wasn't just like a 1990 Tercel?
Yeah.
You know, like
Sure.
well, that would have just sucked. Like that's the sort of thing. Like I like bold vehicle choices.
No,
in movies.
agreed. It's got personality.
It's more style. It's just more style.
And it shows
Yeah.
as part of his character too.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It tells you something about him.
What's another character is that truck?
That truck's like the 6th Flatliner.
Yeah, it is.
Right after Chicago.
So many flat. You can put Chicago down for 5 minutes.
I'm gonna throw the big head in the middle of the chapel into characters, also character, and the gloves. The rubber gloves are the 7th Flatliner.
I have a nitpick.
Pick it.
They were doing aggressive CPR on each other. Sometimes even just like punching each other's chest.
Well, it's movie CPR.
Nobody broke a rib.
It has to come across as
Don't
like you're
know.
desperate.
Yeah.
Nobody broke a rib. That is the most that you should break a rib when you're doing CPR. Otherwise, you're not doing it hard enough. That's not exactly right, but
If you're not rubbing, you're not racing. Is that what you're saying? Also felt like they were doing it kind of slower than what they tell you now in the movie, and I don't know if that was just a change in like the.
I just remember
the
from The
science of it or
Office
not.
that you got to do staying alive.
Staying
right?
alive. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a little triggering because, like, I've seen, you know, and I'm sure Andy, you felt the same way. Like, does it trigger you to see CPR?
Well, it's like I've had it do it on people.
Right.
And like we said, like this movie hits different as you're older because we've all experienced death now. We've seen people die probably.
Yeah.
And then also you wonder what happens, if you were died right now, what you had to confront.
Right.
And what you have to feel guilty about and
So much.
make amends for.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
just
like
it reminded me of like when I was a kid and they had to resuscitate my dad.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Like when I hit those moments in the movie, in a lot of movies when they have those moments.
But for this,
It's intense.
it's like with the gravity of everything else going on, it just hits different.
Yeah. It helps that it's stylized. It softens the blow where it doesn't, you're like, at
That
least
like
this doesn't-
red.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have a lot of red light
Yeah.
during those scenes.
But I love like that such a stylized movie can hit you in the feels.
Yeah. It
Agreed.
really works, man.
Like-
and it makes me want to watch Batman and Robin
Yeah,
again.
the writing is just so good in this. There's that one scene where William Baldwin,
Billy.
Billy Baldwin,
Billy William.
his fiance confronts him. She finds the tapes, and then she breaks up with him. And she says, "I don't care that you had sex with all these women. It's because you violated their trust
Right.
and you took advantage of
Fucking
them."
creep.
Yeah.
So it's not the fact that he had previous relationships; it's the fact that he videotaped them without their consent.
And he needed to hear that.
Yeah.
Like also that character didn't get that. And that's like when he didn't get it until the very first time he started having the visions.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh man, I done bad."
Yeah.
Like it's super dumb, like super like lacking in like emotional intelligence. But that makes him, that's the thing that makes him like kind of a character you can still care about him living or dying because of that.
Right. And when, because like back to people, he clearly is probably a privileged person, just from watching his engagement party with it. It just seems like he comes
Yeah.
from money.
He has-
He's a
and
student.
He has pretty
a medical
privilege.
student.
He
Yeah.
has a video camera.
And-
Those were expensive back then. Not only does he have a Super 8 video camera,
Yep.
he has a player.
Yeah.
Who the fuck owned a Super 8 player that was just a player?
I don't know.
I never knew
It's
anyone.
funny because he is a player too.
Not a single person.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, player's got a player. Every time I ever knew anyone had one of those, you plug the camera into
and-
the TV to watch it.
Yeah. I know. I
Amy
agree.
had a nitpick, but my nitpick is when Kevin Bacon meets up with the girl he bullied.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like,
Winnie.
"Bitch, how old are you?"
Yeah. So matronly.
She had aged a little,
No, I'm just
little
saying,
more than
like-
he had.
Like that bullying kicked your ass, lady,
Yeah.
because you look like in your 50s.
She he's supposed to be a med student. So what is he, like 24?
She's 26 years
Yeah.
old. They say in the movie.
She
She's-
looked matronly.
Yeah. Well, she had that turtleneck
Yeah.
and
And
that
she had like
Janeway hair.
She had like a 10-year-old daughter too, or something.
Yeah. And he comes in there. He's like, "I'm so sorry about what I did." And she's like, "Thank you so much." And I'd be like, "Who the fuck? Get the fuck out!"
You know
Well,
what,
she
though?
doesn't
At
start
first,
off like
yeah.
that. She is definitely not happy.
Yeah, she doesn't
about
want
it.
to even broach this topic at all. She doesn't even want to confront it.
Right. She acts like it's not a big deal because like I like that scene actually a lot.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I
that-
feel like it is really balanced in a good way because she is really damaged from all this stuff they did to her, but she won't admit it at all.
Yeah.
And he has to, and it really is a case of him begging for
But
forgiveness.
he doesn't do that though, and when he walks away, like at that point she hasn't forgiven him,
Right.
and he's not begging like, "Please forgive me." Like,
Well, no, it's not
And
literally begging. It's the pushback he gives her. We're like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
No, these are, when she said, they called her ugly. He's like, "You were never ugly." But like, he had to push back. He didn't just say,
But he wasn't
"I'm very
aggressive.
sorry."
But he wasn't aggressive about it. Like
Oh, no,
other
no.
movies would have done that.
Yeah.
where, like he's like,
been in tears.
yeah.
Well, he was sensitive to her feelings about it. Like, I
Right.
think.
It
Like,
felt real.
Him
Yeah.
and Julia Roberts were the
Yeah.
best
And-
characters.
yeah.
As far as morals.
And like Kevin Bacon seeking, like apologizing, it felt like it was more for her than for him.
Yeah, it felt real. It
Yeah.
felt like a genuine apology, like that he meant, and that he clearly was tormented by what he did, and it didn't feel overly dramatic. Like the point where, this weird guy has turned up out of nowhere. The director and the writer, they really did a great job of being like, if a strange person from grade school showed up, your spouse should be concerned what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on.
With this weird guy in your front
Yeah,
seat
and
too.
he
I
pops
said-
in and checks on her. Yeah.
I said the next thing she said after you leave is, "Honey, that was a recovering addict that was coming to make amends."
I said the same thing to Amy. Yeah. She was like, she goes, "You only make amends for stuff you did when you were drunk." I was like, oh yeah, he was a little boy. Maybe he was a drunk little boy.
Well, I think you can make amends probably for anything, but I think the idea
In the 12
is
step.
too. Yeah. So yeah.
Footsies with somebody under there.
No.
Okay.
Oh, and there's a line where they're doing like the nursery rhymes, like the clapping thing.
Yeah.
And they said that the monkey got choked.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's from UB40. Red, red, red.
UB40, the band, they all look like they are celebrity impersonators.
What?
of like, you know, if you go back and look, we were just watching
Like
the
you're in
video.
Branson or something.
Yeah, like Branson level, like they are impersonators of other celebrities. What video was it, Amy? We were watching. It wasn't Red Red Wine. It was the other one they did that was big.
Oh, the Elvis cover.
No, another one. Sorry.
That's funny because they had that song in Sliver, which Billy Baldwin was in, where he also videotaped people.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God.
Is this his thing?
He likes videotaping people, apparently.
And tangentially being tangentially being connected to UB40.
Was it the way
I can't help falling in love.
No, it wasn't
with
that.
you.
Was
Yes,
it the way you
was.
do the things you do?
No.
I can't help falling.
Anyway, they were singing. Why am I allowing this?
I don't know.
Why am I enabling
the
you?
The thing is, in this particular live video, every one of them looked like one looked like he was impersonating Elon Musk.
Oh.
And one of them looked like they were impersonating Eddie Murphy. And like, you're like, what are these? It's UB40. They're all celebrity impersonators now.
So there you go.
Yeah. It's
Anything
a great
else?
movie.
Flatliners. I loved it.
Quality.
Such quality.
It was I Got
Texture.
You, Babe with Chrissy Hind.
Okay.
That's the video.
Gotcha.
UB40 with Chrissy Hind.
Yeah, great choice, Amy. You chose this right.
Well, Freddie gave me an article that had some ideas, and it was on there, and I was like, fuck yeah, because I wanted to rewatch it. I have not seen the remake.
I'm not going.
I feel I feel like that's more horror-ish.
I don't know if I will or
Like
not.
leans into like the scary parts more.
Yeah. I don't know. If it's like easily streaming somewhere, maybe. All right. Well, at the end of every show, we say hi to our Beelzebubs. Patreon.com/NOTLP to discover what that means. Start here at the top. Elise.
I will see you in just a few minutes. I love you.
Oh, wait. One real quick. If you listen on Stitcher is being absorbed by like Pandora or something, and I think you won't be able to get our show there anymore.
It will not exist.
So make sure that you get us through. Just go to NOTLP.com. You can find everything there.
Drop your Stitcher. Drop it.
Like it's hot. Alyssa. Brandon and Emily. Jeffel. I own a good one. I own a great one.
You sure do.
Dr. Brian. Ghostface Billa, you feature in today's Origins because we were talking about, and I didn't realize, 12 years, man. It's crazy. Bill Farner. Frosted Blakes. Blaine Yogurt. Jordache Jeans. Paul. You guys are so quiet. Jeremy Cassie and Gamora. Ernie. Dave Siebert. And Monica and Dustin.
Yay.
Thank you guys so
I
very
like
much.
how
Thanks,
fast
everyone.
we got through that. Like,
Guys,
you-
it unnerved me. Like I was
I like that.
unnerved.
Just power through it, Amy.
You did it. It was really
Okay.
nice.
You did a great
Well,
job.
I'm so glad to know you.
Thank you.